Hi, so in this video we're going to go over an AP CSA quiz on for loops. So let's dive right in here. So we've got a question about a while loop. So we're going to start out with int I equals 0. We've got this string s, which has got the word quiz in it. And then we've got a while loop. So what I really want to do here is I want to write out the variables. Because I think you're not going to be able to get these questions right if you try and do them in your head. That's my main idea. So you really need to keep track of your variables. So what I like to do is I like to make these little boxes here. And so I have the variable I listed in this box, and it has the value 5. And then we'll go from here. And then I guess we can, when we have a string with indices, we want to mark those out here as well. So the string quiz has indices 0, 1, 2, 3, and indices, that's a plural of the word index. So a little fun fact for you. Okay, so let's go through this. While I is greater than 2, so is I greater than 2? Is 5 greater than 2? And I would say, yes, it is. So we say I minus equals 2. So what that means is that we're going to subtract 2 from this I. So we're going to make that equal to 3. And I'm still on eraser mode. Okay. So we're going to make that equal to 3. Okay, so we've already done that line. And now we're going to system.out.println s.substring I with a space after it. So we've got this string here. We've got I equal to 3. So substring 3 to the end, right? If you just have substring with one parameter in it, that substring to the end, we will print out z, right? Because we've got z at index 3. So already, we're actually not sure about the invalid substring because maybe something weird will happen later in this. But we know it's not going to be IZ quiz, and we know it's not going to be UIZ Z because we know that we're printing out Z first. Okay, why don't I change this to red so we get a little different color there? So we know that we're going to print out Z first. Okay, so then we're going to go through the loop again. So we've got while I is greater than or equal to 2, and 3 is greater than or equal to 2, so we're going to subtract 2 from there. So we've got that, and so we're going to put 1 in the box, and then we're going to system.out.println s.substring 1. Okay, s.substring 1 is going to go UIZ, right? We're going to take everything from here to there. So then we're going to do UIZ. Okay, so we printed out Z, UIZ, and then we just need to go through and make sure that this loop actually finishes, and we'll go from there. So we printed out UIZ, and then we go through, is I greater than or equal to 2? I is equal to 1 here, so I is not greater than or equal to 2. So that means that we are going to actually stop executing this loop. So the only two things we will have printed are Z and UIZ, and that is in fact one of our answer options. So Z, UIZ is the correct answer. I'm going through these in really great detail here. On a test, you're going to need to go a little bit faster, but you're not going to need to explain yourself. You have about 2 minutes per question on the AP exam, so you'll be able to get it done. Okay, so now we've got this question here. So we'll put our variables together, and we've got max, and that the value of max is 3. And then, so we have a for loop here, and we start at 3. So we're going to have I start at 3. And then it's worth noting, we'll just write over here that max divided by 3 is equal to 1. Okay, so we can actually just kind of erase this here, and we can write the number 1 there. So for int I equals max, I greater than 1, I minus minus. So we're going in reverse here, but it doesn't really quite matter. If I is less than max, then we're going to system.out.println x. So let's go through this first iteration here. And I don't know why I drew 3 here. Whoops. Okay, so going back in time a little bit, max is equal to actually 5, and 5 divided by 3, 5 divided by 3 is still 1. So that's actually correct still. So, okay, sorry about that. So I had that mixed up. So I is equal to, let's see. I is not equal to 3, I is equal to 5. Okay, so we go through int I equals max, so we've already set that up. Is I, which is equal to 5, greater than 1? Yes, it is. So we're going to look at this line. Is I in this situation less than max? Is 5 less than 5? No, it's not. So we're not going to print here. So now we're going to go on to the next iteration of the loop. So we minus I. Okay, so we minus I. So now I is equal to 4. And then we do our check here. Is I greater than 1? Yes, it is. Now we're going to do this check. Is I less than max? So is 4 less than 5? Yes, it is. So we're going to print out an X. Okay. Now we go through again. We'll speed up a little bit. We're going to decrement this. And 3 is less than max. So we print out X. And we're going to decrement again. So I is equal to 2. 2 is greater than 1, and 2 is less than max. So we're going to print out another X. And then we're going to decrement one last time here, and I is equal to 1. Is 1 greater than 1? No, it is not, so the loop will be over. So how many times will X be printed as a result of executing this code segment? X will be printed 3 times. Nice. Okay, so consider the following code segment here. Okay, so let's look at this. This one is interesting. Because you should remember, just in general, with a while loop, you want while condition. You should have this int something, while condition, and then in here we have stuff, and then we either probably have I++ or I minus. And the key thing is that this is inside the loop. That's what makes it so that every time the condition runs, we change the value of the loop variable, and then that makes it so the condition changes. So here, we've got, you should already be red flags. Why is this I++ out of here? Okay. Why is this I++ out of here? That does not seem very good. So let's run through it here. Oh, that was my curly brace, not the number 3. Okay. So we have I is equal to, we'll put the box here for I, and that is 1. And then we'll put S is quiz, and it has indices 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So while I is less than or equal to 3, I is less than or equal to 3, right? 1 is less than or equal to 3. We're going to print s.substring of I, and so that will print out this 1, 2, 3, which is whiz, but then I is not going to change. So this is just going to happen over and 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 over again. So the right answer here in this situation, this is a pretty quick one, UIZ infinitely many times. So you basically know if you don't change the loop variable inside your loop, either this while loop is going to run 0 times or it's going to run infinity times. Okay, so there you go. Now we are on to question number 4 out of 5. And we've got what looks like a nested for loop here. Okay, so nested for loops, what I like to do is one way to do it is you can make a table here. So we can do I over here, J over here. We know that I is going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We know that J is going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So then we have to think about what happens in each of these situations when I and J are equal to different values. And so we look. So we have the outer for loop, we have the inner for loop, and then the actual stuff that gets done is in here. If J equals I, print out the letter A. So we can look through it. Is 0 equal to 0? When those two values are the case, then we will print an A. Is 0 equal to 1? No. Is 0 equal to 2? No. Is 0 equal to 3? No. Blah, 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 blah. Is 0 equal to 1? No. Is 1 equal to 1? You guys might get the pattern here. Okay, is 2 equal to 0? No. Is 1 equal to 2? No, but 2 is equal to 2. Okay. 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, no, but 3, 3, yes. it almost looks like we're doing like tic-tac-toe here. So 4, 3, nope. 4, 0, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, no. 4, 4, yes. So how many times will A be printed? We have this situation, this situation, this situation, this situation, this situation. So how many times will the letter A be printed? And I would argue that the answer is 5. So in a situation like this, right, the reason why I drew that table into that shortcut there is because if you kind of sit there, like think about what I did for this question here or this question up here. I went through and I manually kind of like wrote down the values of I and max and all of these things. If you do that for a nested for loop that's going 25 times and you're really slow about it and you don't get the pattern, you're going to be kind of in trouble because it's going to take you like forever to answer the question. So this sort of grid thing, hopefully this is something that you end up doing in class. Making a grid like this is actually a really helpful way to kind of go through and summarize what happened in a nested loop. And so all we did is we said, we know that I is going to have values 0 to 4. So we put them up here. We know that J is going to have values 0 to 4. And then every single one of those combinations is going to happen. And we're able to do this because this stuff that's going on in the loop isn't very complicated or confusing, right? You can't always do a table like this if the stuff inside of the loop like that's happening is super confusing and changing a bunch of values. This sort of summary table won't work. But in this situation, because it was very simple logic that was going on inside the loop, we were able to get away with doing the table. Okay. This is a situation where maybe, well, we'll see. We'll see what we can do. So let's see. So I'm going to do the table again, but we do have this variable count, and this is equal to 1. Okay. And then let's look at it. So we have i's going 0, 1. So those are the i's. And then we have j's going 0, 1, 2, 3, right? From 0 to 4, not including 4. Okay. So then we need to know if j mod 2 is equal to 0. So, let's see. This counts on one thing that I actually don't know if it's true in Java. So we think here that 0 mod 0 is 0. Because like we have to do this, right? Is j mod, oh no, j mod 2. Never mind. You know, I'm doing these videos live, so sometimes I get a little bit confused, but we're good. Okay. So is j mod 2 equal to 0? So j mod 2 is equal to 0. That is the case here. So we're going to multiply by 2. J mod 2 is not equal to 2 when j is equal to 1. So we're not going to multiply by 2. 2 mod 2 equals 0. And then 3 mod 2 is not equal to 0. 0 mod 2 is equal to 0. 1 mod 2 is not. 2 mod 2 is equal to 0, and then 3 mod 2 is not. Okay? So, then, wow, this is an awesome question. So that tells us how many times this count gets modified by 2 here. So then, so we have these situations here. We have I equals 0, j equals 0. After that, count is equal to 2. Then we have I equals 0, j equals 2, count is equal to 4. Okay. But then look at what gets printed here. It's very important to tell where this print statement is. Do we print once, or how many times do we print? We print every time this outer loop happens. So we kind of need to we can draw some brackets for ourselves. So those are together, these are together, and then all of this stuff is together. So we are going to run a print statement exactly 2 times. So that means we can get rid of this, and we can get rid of this, okay? So we are going to do a print after I is equal to 0, okay? So we'll just fill in the rest of this table. count is 8, and then I equals 1, j equals 2, count is then 16. Okay, so we are going to print after we've done this inner loop. After we've done this inner loop, that's when we're going to run our print statement. So that means we're going to run our print statements here after this inner loop, and we're going to run it here after this inner loop. So we should print 416. Okay. So that was a pretty tough question, and the summary table almost like messed us up. But that is what it is. You didn't necessarily need to do the summary table here. You could have also done just the old-fashioned way with kind of like running the code by hand and going through it. But yeah, this is one of the tougher loop questions I could see you getting on the exam. You really need to pay attention to what goes on here. Because like let's just erase some of this stuff to make it more clear. If this line here moved up inside of one more brace, then you'd be printing 4 times. It'd be very easy to get messed up here. So yeah, tough question. And you have to be good at multiplying by 2. Okay. So that's the end of this quiz. Hope this was helpful. And if you have been finding the videos on this YouTube channel helpful, if you could like this video and subscribe, that would be super helpful. And thanks for watching.